I just got off work. Connor's not here right now. He's with his grandma. And I thought I'd hop on here real quick. First of all, not that I think I need to explain, but I do want to say that I wear my hair up in a messy bun all day, and it is giving me a terrible headache. I can feel a migraine starting to come on, and so I took it down, so it's nasty and ugly. I just wanted to say I did not wear my hair out like this. I do not think it looks good. Anyway, I am here in Connor's room. I thought I would do this video in here because it's going to be about him. And so, yeah, I actually made his bed behind me. Go mama. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I wanted to get on here. This November is, not this November, I was going to say this month. November, every year, is National Adoption Month. So I wanted to get on here and talk to you. I know I've done the vlogs about adoption. Last month, October, was Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And so I didn't really do a video for it, but I've talked to you a lot about Down syndrome and adoption. So I'm just going to kind of combine it all here and do it all together. So hopefully this won't be forever long. Obviously, adoption made us a family. We felt God leading us to international adoption. Again, you can watch my adoption videos that are on my page here about more details about that. But I just wanted to say that adoption is beautiful. Adoption is so powerful and so deep and so joyful. And at the same time, it's loss, it's grief, it's trauma, it's attachment issues. It's all these things, and yet it's beautiful. And it's hard, it's difficult, it's easy, it's fun. I know the process scares a lot of people. I get it. It scared me. And I know a lot of times we let the scary keep us away. I know it's expensive. Believe me, I know it's expensive. I still have no idea how we paid for it. I'm going to be honest. Connor's adoption was around $20,000. Y'all, we live paycheck to paycheck. Got no idea, except for God is good. And He took really, really, really good care of us. He provided every dime. And when I say that, I know I need to mention all the people that gave. And I can't. There's no way I can. But God laid it on the hearts of His people to give to our adoption and for our adoption. And Connor's here today, and there's no money for the adoption still on credit cards. There's no money for the adoption that hasn't been paid. It's paid in full, y'all. And when I say that, I also want to say, I've had people ask me before, this is a pet peeve of mine. I've had people ask me before how much he cost. Connor did not cost anything. He's a child. We did not buy him. We did not pay for him. Now, the adoption process has fees, the paperwork, the country fees, all these social workers and agencies are working for you, are helping you. So, yeah, you pay, but Connor did not cost a dime. And so I like to throw that in there because that's one of my pet peeves. So please, please, please refrain from wording your question. I know what you're asking. I totally get it. And most people don't mean it maliciously at all. But please refrain from saying it in the form of how much did he cost, because he is a person and we do not buy people. Anyway, rant over. So, we started our adoption process in 2014. Connor obviously came home in 2016. The adoption was finalized in August of 2016. Hong Kong does it where you are home 6 months before the adoption's finalized. So for 6 months, we could not show his face on any social media. His name, obviously we called him Connor, but his name on all insurance and legal paperwork was still his Chinese birth name. And so that got tricky and crazy when it was time to change his name. When we finalized the adoption, his name was legally changed. I should have brought my paper over here and showed you. It was just so awesome to go to court and have him legally declared Connor Thaddeus Malone. It was just one of those moments that I can't even explain to you. I can't even describe to you. It was powerful. I'll say that. And anyway, 2014, starting on our adoption journey. God led us to Hong Kong. He let us know right off the bat Hong Kong was our country. And then our agency worker let us know that Hong Kong is a special needs only orphanage. Whoa, 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 whoa. I do not know how to be a parent to a child with special needs. Can't do it, won't do it, shouldn't have to do it. There's no way I can do it. You know, all these things set in. And here I am, y'all, 2.5 years later, and I can do it. I'm doing it. Am I the greatest? Heavens no. I'm putting one foot in front of the other. I'm struggling along day by day. Every day's not a good day, but guess what? There's something good in every day. And my child is incredible. My child is perfect. I have actually been asked before, if I could, would I take away Down syndrome from Connor? Would I give him a life where he didn't have Down syndrome? My answer is absolutely not. And the reason I say that is Down syndrome is a part of who Connor is. It's not all of who Connor is. Connor has so many traits and personalities, and he's so much more than Down syndrome. But Down syndrome is a huge part of who he is. It's a huge part of some of his quirks and some of his personalities and some of his... And so, of course, I would not take that away from him. And I know sometimes that's hard to say when we're in the hospital a lot and when we're doing all this respiratory junk, and he gets pneumonia at the drop of a hat, and this and that, and surgeries and all these things. You know, he can't tell me what he needs. He can't speak to me. So, yeah, it's difficult. There's days I'm like, oh, this is driving me nuts. You know, it's setback after setback for him, and I would love to take that away. But no, I would not take away Down syndrome, because it is making my little man. It's him. It's who he is. And so that's a difficult way to answer that, I know, because it kind of contradicts itself. But the answer is no, I wouldn't. I love him so much for who he is. And we don't know what the future holds. I'm just going to be completely honest on this video. It's probably going to rub some people the wrong way. But I mean this in a positive light. We don't know what the future holds. I cannot tell you what tomorrow will bring even. I don't know. But I can tell you that we're going to get through it. I can tell you that Connor is going to be loved exactly where he's at. I can tell you that we may struggle, but we will be right there together at the end of the day. I know that a lot of people think I'm praying for him to be made whole. Think I'm just like, would I take away Down syndrome? A lot of people think I'm praying for him to be, and again, I'm being honest here, and I don't mean this wrong or mean. This could be taken the wrong way, but please know I love my child, and I mean this in a good way. I'm not praying for him to be above average. I'm not praying for him to be in the 100 percentile. I'm not praying for him to be at the top of his class. I'm not praying for those things. My prayer is, it's going to make me cry. I'm such a crybaby, y'all. I'm going to try really hard not to do it. My prayer is for him to be who God wants him to be. My prayer is that no matter what that looks like, no matter what that makes our future look like, that we will keep our eyes on him and we will love Connor exactly where he's at. It is my prayer that we would be the best for him. It is my prayer that we would be the parents we need to be for him. It is my prayer that he is exactly who God wants him to be. It is my prayer that he is accepted and loved and challenged and babied and just protected and guided, and yet that I will learn to let go a little and let him be independent. That I will learn to be the mother he is going to need. That's my prayer. And a lot of people can get mad at me. That's okay. That's my prayer for him. I'm not praying for speech. I'm not praying for all these other abilities that may or may not come. I'm hopeful. Of course, I would love to have a conversation with my son. But you know what? If that never comes, that's okay. There are other ways he can speak to me. Connor uses sign language. Connor is great with his gestures, let me tell you. I can look at him. I can know what he's thinking. There has and I'm not bragging on myself. You know I don't think I'm the greatest. I certainly do not. But I can promise you that in these 2.5 years, there's only been a handful of times that I could not figure out what he wanted. He lets me know, even if that means he has to get up and walk across the room and point at something or get something. He lets me know. And a great example of that is he was sick one day. And Jeremy was at work, and Connor kept pointing at his head. He kept going like this. And I kept saying, oh my gosh, he's finally telling me what hurts. Because all day long, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. I'm like, what hurts, Connor? What's wrong? But I could just tell something's wrong. Connor, what hurts? What's wrong? And he just kept doing this. And so I'm like, finally, it was like the end of the day. I'm like, finally, he's telling me his head hurts. So I'm like, Connor, does your head hurt? And he just kept going like this. Does your head hurt? And he kept saying, nah, nah. And he kept pointing like this. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, I don't understand. And I really thought he was telling me his head hurt. And finally, he walks over and he points to a picture of us on the wall. And he points to his daddy. And he was trying to say daddy. Now, daddy is signed like this. And he was just going. So does he have everything completely correct? No. But we're trying, y'all. And he was trying to tell me, I want daddy. And daddy came home within like 10 minutes. And he was all about daddy. And that's what he wanted. He wanted his daddy. And so little things like that, sure, there's times I get confused. And there's times I don't totally know what he wants. But you know what? He saw I was confused. He saw I didn't understand. And so he walked over to a picture and thought, he was probably honestly thinking, you big dummy, my head does not hurt. I want my dad. You know, you're the one who taught me this sign. Get it right, lady. You know, and so that was just my way of proving there are ways he can communicate. There are ways he can let me know his needs and wants and his thoughts without speaking. Are we hopeful he'll speak? Absolutely. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in, that we are just praying that God would make him who he's supposed to be, no matter what that looks like. That's scary. That makes your future unknown. It really does. I don't know if he'll do a lot of things. I don't know if this... I believe the sky's the limit. Don't get me wrong. I certainly do. I believe he can do anything he sets his mind to. He is a smart little dude. He really is. It's just a lot of times he can't make all he knows come out. So we, a lot of times, put limitations on him. We, society, I certainly don't. I know he's smart. I know he's incredible. But when I say we, I kind of mean society is going to put limitations on him. Society is going to see that he can't speak and automatically think that he doesn't have intellectual thoughts or that he doesn't know certain things. And that is totally wrong. He is such a smart dude, but he just can't make it come out. And it is my job to advocate for him. It is my job to spread the word that people, not even just Down syndrome, but people who are nonverbal, they can hear you and they probably understand more than likely. And they have thoughts, they have feelings, and so we need to treat them better. I get aggravated when I see how people treat people who are nonverbal or who have any disability, because so often we say things in front of them we shouldn't. We talk about them like they're not there. We treat them like babies when they're like grown people half the time. They're not babies. And so that is just me throwing in a little rant. That wasn't even what this video was truly supposed to be about. But sorry, I had to do it. So, when we let people know we were adopting a child with Down syndrome, well, first off, it was a child with special needs. We didn't know exactly what. We just knew, hey, God's leading us to Hong Kong. It's an orphanage with special needs. We kept telling God we couldn't do it, but God was like, this is my plan for you. You know, you've begged me to be parents for 7 years now, and I'm telling you I have a baby for you, and now you're telling me, now you're trying to back up, and you're trying to, you know, put the brakes on. And so we knew, honestly, because we already knew God was calling us to Hong Kong. And I will say that I believe God will not call the wife to something that he don't call the husband to as well. And what I mean by that is, before anybody jumps on here commenting, screaming at me, what I mean by that is, I do not believe that God would have called me to adopt and not called Jeremy as well. He will call you both to it, because his plan is for the married couple. It is. It's not for separation. It's not for, that's his plan. And when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about divorce. I'm talking about his plan for your life. If you're a married couple, he's not going to call you to separate. Now, I'm not meaning, this sounds so wrong. I'm not meaning you can't do different jobs in the church and things like that. I mean life-changing events like adopting a child. I do not believe he would have talked to Jeremy about it and not talked to me about it. We lined up perfectly, and that's how we know we knew it was God's plan. He had talked to both of us. Same way with the special needs adoption. He had talked to both of us. He had talked to both of us about Hong Kong. And there was no denying it, because we wanted to deny it. When we found out it was special needs, we did. We wanted to deny it, but there was no denying it. And I'm just being open and honest about you. I love my life now. Please do not think that I still want to deny it or anything like that. God can change your heart, and He totally did. That is exactly what He did with us. So when we told people it was a special needs adoption, we were met with less than thrilled reactions. No one was super mean to us. People were just like, why? Like, why would you do that? Why would you choose that? What? And my answer is, it's what's God's... Ugh, can't even talk, y'all. My answer is, it's what's God... Hello? My answer is, it's what God is telling us to do. We didn't have all the answers. We were scared to death. I was scared to death. And I just kept... Meanwhile, you need to watch my adoption videos, because I'm getting super long already, and I don't want to go into all this. But anyway, we found Connor on the waiting list, and I knew this is our baby. This is him. But Jeremy had a lot of reservations, and I totally understand that. At the time, I worked with adults with intellectual disabilities. I worked with several people with Down syndrome, so I was more comfortable. And so, Jeremy, we were still praying about it. We were actively seeking. We were working on paperwork to bring a child home, so we didn't really necessarily have to be matched with a specific baby at the moment, but we were still moving forward in our adoption. I don't want you to think we were like at a standstill for a while. We weren't. So we're praying about a specific child, but we're moving forward with adopting a child, any child. And so we were in church one Sunday, and it was around the time that the song Oceans had come out. If you're familiar with it, it was super popular, and we were doing Oceans. And Jeremy, if you don't know, he's worship leader at a church. And so we were up singing the song. I don't think I was singing that week. I sung with them some, but I don't think I was singing that week. So I'm in the audience. And God spoke to me during that song, because the words are, Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith would be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. And those words spoke to me. And it was like He was saying, you know, you sing this, you hear this on the radio all the time, and you're singing this in church, but are you really believing the words? Are you really believing that I will carry you through this? Are you really believing that I have got you, that I am going to, that I am going to do a good work in your life? Do you really believe that I'm holding you, I'm going to carry you? And do you really believe that, do you really want me to lead you where your trust is without borders? Because I'm trying, and you're putting the brakes on, you're stopping. And it was an overwhelming thing, and I talked to Jeremy about it later, and it really touched him too, obviously. And we just continued to pray, and then finally we realized, this is our baby. This is our child. And we were terrified. We were super scared. We didn't know a whole lot about Down syndrome. And so a lot of times, when people find out I adopted a child with Down syndrome, they're like, oh, well, you didn't go through the emotions of a prenatal diagnosis, and you didn't go through the emotions of thinking God was mad at you, and you didn't go through the emotions of being scared or upset about the life you're going to have, and you didn't go through this time in your life. And I tell you right now, I didn't have a prenatal diagnosis. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know how scary that is. I don't know how angry you would get at God. I can imagine, but I've not been there. But I can tell you about the fear. I can tell you about the uncertainty. I can tell you about the emotion, because I had it too. Because in my experience, yes, I chose my son, but God was telling me, this is your child. Here is your baby. Here is the child I have for you. So in that sense, I feel like there wasn't a choice. This was him. It wasn't a search to find a child. It was a search to find my baby. God said, I want you to adopt a baby. Your baby's out here in this world. I'm going to take you to him. And he did when we were ready. But in the beginning, we were so different from the end of the adoption journey. Like God had refined us. He had changed us. We had grown. And it's all through his grace and mercy. It really is, y'all. He was our leader, our guider. And he made us. It's like we were babies. And then by the end of the journey, when we held our son in our arms, we looked back on this journey and we saw where he had made us adults. He had grown us into this man and this woman, from this boy and this girl. And it's incredible. It's amazing. And I'm so thankful that we were strong in our faith and we didn't let others' opinions get in the way. Anybody who had anything negative or reservations now does not feel that way at all. And I'm not saying that's because we're amazing parents and they see we're killing it. I don't mean that at all. I mean, they have fallen in love with Connor, and their perception has changed about Down syndrome, about disabilities, about special needs. And what more could I ask for? You know, we have changed some hearts. We have softened some hearts, and we've changed some minds, and it's an incredible thing. It's not scary, y'all. It's my child. You know, a lot of times I get asked, you know, not are you afraid of him, but like, are you afraid of the future? Are you afraid of and I'm going to tell you, like any mom would tell you of a typical child, I don't want him to grow up. I would love for him to stay like this right now forever. Be my little one forever. Be my baby till the end of time. I would love that. But what I mostly am is I'm excited. I'm excited about the future like any mom is. I'm excited to watch him grow. I'm excited to watch him change. I'm excited to watch him learn, to see him just grow into this incredible young man, and to know that I was part of that journey. I'm excited. Is the future scary? Yeah, the future's scary anytime. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. But we've just got to keep our joy and our hope and our focus on the King of Kings, because he's going to carry us through and he's going to take care of us. And that's what he did for us. And so I just wanted to get on here and talk about adoption and tell y'all it's incredible. And the things God did in my life, it's amazing. Down syndrome, adoption, it was a different path. It was not the path, it was the path, I don't know how to say it. I mean, like, it was the less walked path. But we did it, and we're thankful, and we're glad, and we wouldn't change a thing. And, it was, not the most support we could have had, but we had support. We seriously did. I don't mean that, but I just mean there was a lot that didn't support us, that were confused, that were concerned, and we appreciate that. That means you care about us. And I hope that we've changed some minds, though, along with that. We've changed some hearts. And I hope that you can look at our family, and I hope that if you know us really well, I hope that you can look at our family and you can say, wow, he was really their baby. Not, oh, wow, they adopted a child. That's cool. I hope you can look at us and see how well we fit, y'all. We really do, because we were God's plan. And I get asked so often if I think we'll adopt more kids or have a baby, or what's the plan. And I feel like anytime you have a child, immediately people want to know if you're going to have more. And first off, whoa, give me a second, to figure out how to do this. And, Connor had been in the orphanage since a little over a year old, and even when he was in foster care, he had foster siblings, so he never had some one-on-one time with mom and daddy. And I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, well, children that are born that aren't the first child, you know, that are the siblings, they never had one-on-one time with mom and daddy. So what's it matter? Well, they had a mom and daddy, though. They had this family. They had this time. So I really want Connor to have this time. Now, I know what you're thinking. He's been home 2.5 years. He's had his time. I agree, y'all. I would love to have another child. But our adoption went so perfectly. Our adoption went, I mean, yeah, some things went wrong in it. Of course, anytime you're taking the least walked path, there's things that are going to go on. But God carried us through our adoption, and it went perfectly. He led us directly to Connor. We brought him home. Everything's went great. Everything's went perfect. There were no big setbacks in the adoption. It was good. And so I do not want to jump in. I want God to lead me. I want it to be God's will and God's plan. I believe it needs to be when it comes to adoption. Or it won't work. I believe that. And while I'm saying that, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, how can you act like all orphans having a home would not be God's plan? I believe it is God's plan for all orphans to have a family. I do believe that. But I also believe that it's in His time and it's in His way. And so I need to stand still and let God move. And that's what we're doing, y'all. It's all up to Him. We want to be His vessels. We want to do what He'd have us to do. And so we're waiting on God's call, and we're seeing what His plan is. And could it be a biological baby? I've had a lot of people ask me if we'll keep trying to have a baby. He's the King of Kings. God can do anything He wants to do. If He wanted us to have a biological baby, we'd have a biological baby. Am I telling you that's not in the future? No, I don't know. You know, is an adopted child in the future? I don't know. We'll see, you know. I'm just telling you that we are open to His plan for our family, and whatever that may be. And we are satisfied in the fact that Connor has had his time with us. He's had time with mom and daddy. And now we are just standing still and waiting on God to move. And I don't want you to get excited when I say that, because Connor could totally be meant to be our only child. That's a huge possibility, and we're fine. Connor is enough for me. He is my joy. He is my heart. And as much as I would love for that to multiply and for there to be more children, I know that I'm so lucky to have him. I'm so lucky to get to call him my son. I'm so lucky that God grew our family through adoption. I am so lucky that it was a special needs adoption. I am so lucky that we were given this opportunity to walk the path that's least walked. I am so lucky that our family was formed in this way. And that's what I wanted to say today on National Adoption Month. And last month, I'm late, but last month was Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And that's what I wanted to get on here and say. We are so grateful, thankful, blessed. Our life is beautiful, and it's not anything we've done. It's all what God has done, because He has been incredible to us. He has led us on this crazy journey. Everyone thought we were nuts, and now they see our family together and they're like, I get it. I totally get it. And that's all we could ask for. I want our life to be a testament, not of anything great about us, but of everything great about Him, about His goodness, about His mercy, about His grace, and really, really important, and a great big deal in our story, about His faithfulness. Because He will complete what He started. And we just have to cling to Him, hold on to Him, and keep our eyes on Him. And it takes a lot of patience. My baby didn't come immediately. We were married 7 years, begging God for a baby. And it was hard. You can watch my infertility video and tell that. It was ashes. It was me being buried in these ashes. But you know what? Beauty came from those ashes, because God can do that, and He can transform a life. And that's totally what He did for us. And anyway, I'm getting super long-winded, y'all. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions or any thing you'd like to ask me, please do so. I'd love to talk to you guys. And just keep on, y'all, keeping your eyes on God and letting Him lead your life, letting Him direct you. And He will do a mighty work in you. But you